Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of these reviews. Today, I want to talk about my first impression of Shots Fired. I actually just finished the third episode of Shots Fired. The fourth episode premieres tomorrow, Wednesday. It is a Fox drama. Like I said, it comes on Wednesday nights. It stars Sanaa Lathan, who, of course, we remember especially from Love and Basketball and Brown Sugar. She plays Ash Aquino, who is a DOJ investigator. We also have Stefan James. He was in Race and Selma. He plays her partner, Preston Terry. We also have in the show Will Patton, who you'll remember from Remember the Titans. He plays Sheriff Platt. Helen Hunt from Mad About You. She plays the governor of North Carolina, where this story takes place. Governor Patricia Emmons. We of course have the multi-talented and amazing Tristan, aka Mac Wilds, who we remember from The Wire. We remember from 90210. He's on The Breaks. He's Grammy nominated. He's multi-talented. He plays Deputy Bex, and he's the deputy in trouble here. And then we have Aisha Hines, who we remember from Under the Dome and Underground, currently on Underground. She plays Pastor Janae James. So the story is basically about an unarmed teenager or young adult who is shot by a cop. And in the opening scene, it's a black cop played by Mac Wilds who shoots a white unarmed teenager. But we also learn very early on in the first episode that there was an unarmed teenager who was black who also died, and DOJ wasn't called in on it. DOJ is called in to investigate the homicide of the white teenager by the governor, like I said, played by Helen Hunt. So this is a show that you obviously know offhand just from that tagline alone. It's going to be very relevant to today's conversations and dramatic. And it is. It's a very promising show. My first impression is a good one. It's a very promising show. It's one of those shows that I couldn't see going more than one or two seasons because I don't see. I mean, like honestly, if it took that long, then well, actually, that'd probably be very telling of our country and our justice system. But this show's good. It's as much about mothers and the loss of their sons as it is about the police, and it shows us two very different sides of the same story. I always love when Sanaa Lathan plays a flawed character instead of the perfect girl next door. So like, you know, when she was in Nip Tuck and Family That Prays, I loved when she did that kind of thing, and she kind of has that same thing going on. Even though she's an investigator, she's very flawed in this show. This show doesn't shy away from combos that we're having today about race relations, about politics, about law enforcement, and a lot of the views that we all espouse, how a victim, an unarmed victim, can suddenly become a criminal, and how their past somehow shapes their a justified homicide. An idea that still confuses me to this day. The show talks about that. The show talks about how other problems are affecting our community. And by community, I mean lower income, low middle income, urban, black, minority communities. How other things like schooling and prison systems very much affect our communities, and how it can cause communities to lose faith in the people sworn to protect, and it can cause those sworn to protect to no longer see us as a community, but almost as children to be disciplined or animals to be herded. And that's not a direct quote from the show, but perspective. So this is the kind of show where you're going to want to check your guilt and your anger at the door. And the people who have guilt and anger know exactly who I'm talking to. So you might want to check this at the door. Maybe it's good that you bring it in there. Maybe you'll get it checked, and it'll provoke some conversations. I hope it does. So I'm going to continue watching. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. It seems like a good show. Thank you again for tuning in, and please continue to check me out.